my god, Lumi in the chat. Hello, Lumi. And hello, everyone else, hello, Lazy One, and Pyro, and it's like, why should I only give acknowledgement to other content creators? Because you guys are helping a lot. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about Romanian politics, and then we're going to be talking about the title of the stream. Usually, I keep forgetting to actually discuss the title. And also, we're going to be talking about something else interesting that came out. Recently, there's a lot of leftists on Twitter that... and the reason I say they're leftists is because they got pronouns in the bio and rainbow flags and shit. And one of the things they do is being subversive. So, it's never the actual issue with them, right? Like, the issue is never the issue. What they do is if they don't like something, right? They don't like heteronormativity. Like, they want to promote queerness. So when you want to promote something, you also want to suppress the thing that you're not promoting. And going against heteronormativity is exceptionally difficult because, like, everyone likes heteronormativity, right? Like, everyone is into that. So what they do is whenever they see anything that's lewd, they will try to pretend that they're people against degeneracy. Which is absolutely hilarious because they're left-leaning people, right? So, and you go into their timeline and you look at what they like and what they share, and any normal person is horrified. Absolutely horrified. But I've noticed that this was actually happening since way back in the day, since 2017. And here you have an example, right? This is Samurai Jack. Now in 2017, Samurai Jack... got a continuation, like a couple of new episodes. And you can see, like, literally the same playbook, right? Like, this week on the Straits ruined everything. And all of these are, like, tweets from back in the day. I'm dropping the show right now. Fuck everything. God forbid the sci-fi story has a female character who's their own character, blah, blah, blah. Like, suggesting that women aren't interested in men. Or that women don't want to seek romance. Like, I gotta say, this ideology actually hurt a lot of women. And you can go on Reddit, and there's, like, our relationship advice, or, like, a lot of places where women talk with each other, and they're absolutely experiencing despair and existential dread because the ideology destroyed romance. And they now have an expectation to behave like the female boss, to behave like the box that these people manufacture for them, a box that many women don't even want to go into. And they actually did create a realistic expectation for women. Like, in the past, it was like the fantasy trope. It's like, okay, you got the dark elf waifu, and she's got a whip, and she's competent, and she does everything. But it was like a fantasy thing, and it was like specific to a type of genre, like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. Meanwhile, what they were doing is like, no, listen, like, our games aren't just video games. Like, no, like, we're pushing morality, we're breaking boundaries, we're trying to change societal expectations. So, like, now it is the expectation that every single woman cuts her hair short and acts as masculine as possible and is confident and is in charge of everything. And a lot of women, like, feel not only that they can't fit that shoe, but, like, they don't want to fit that shoe. And you notice that when they don't, and they behave in a way that feels normal, basically society tells them, no, like, this is wrong, this is disgusting, right? And this is just like a simplification. It's just one cartoon show, but they behave like this in universities, they behave like this in the corporate environment, they behave like this everywhere, right? So, like, imagine you're a woman and you got, like, people you look up to, and they're progressives, and they look at a cartoon and it's like, oh, this is disgusting, like, women should be strong, they shouldn't actually fall in love with men. Imagine how confused those people would be. Imagine the despair that they may experience, especially if you're a person that's obsessed with trying to fit in and trying to find a place. So yeah, that was from back in the day, and they haven't changed their behavior. It does seem that Samurai Jack got laid. I haven't actually watched the recent Samurai Jacks. Like, I watched the ones when I was a kid. But back in 2004, when they made the new episodes, I didn't tune in. You just want to goon is always the argument they clap back with. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't understand why that fucking works. Like why wouldn't you say it's like, look, looking at a sexy woman is something that everyone can relate with? It's like the concept of your dad's porn magazine existed because your dad actually had porn magazines. Like, he was a married man, and despite all that, he had porn magazines. Like any man, looks at a Victoria's Secret catalog and goes like, yeah, nice. Like, what is the shame in that? Why exactly? You don't go out of your way to promote it everywhere. You don't go at the office. You're not holding it in front of children. Like, okay. But, like, as an adult, if you just happen to like sexy women, like, what is the shame in that? Even South Park was like, nice. Because it is fucking nice. Like, every man can, look at Eve from Stellar Blade and say nice. There's no shame in it. It's absurd to even, like, allow people to shame you for it. In fact, I remember when I was a kid, if there was, like, 5 people in a room, like, let's say we were watching football or Stargate or whatever, and you had, like, a sexy actress, and, like, one kid would say, ew, everyone else would be like, what do you mean, ew? Like, are you gay? Like, that would literally be, and it wasn't, like, a question to insult. It was, like, a genuine pursuit of knowledge. Like, we genuinely were seeking out to find out if we discovered that this person was gay. Like, if there were, like, commercials with chicks in bikinis, and another kid from the room decided to leave, like, we would ask, like, what, is he gay? Like, what's happening? Like, why doesn't he want to watch the commercials? And this was in high school. It was, like, when I was 16. So, the way the culture shifted to the point where, like, now if you actually like seeing women in bikinis, it's considered disgusting. It's like, what do you mean? No, it's not. Yeah, like, just 5 dudes chilling in a room watching Stargate. That's what I was doing. I think I was, like, 16, 17. I forgot the age. But we were playing Heroes of Might and Magic, eating pizza, watching Stargate. It's how I grew up. And I miss those times. I miss those memories. A lot of Trashgate banter. Yeah. We got a Freudian slip? Stargate was amazing. Like, it's so interesting because, like, it's kind of simple in its delivery. It wasn't, like, very, trying to be pretentious or lecture or anything like that. It was so fucking entertaining. And the one thing that I fear about is that Amazon might actually try to recreate Stargate. Like, I think they have the license for it. So, like, if Amazon ever makes a new Stargate, God help us. It's probably going to no, I even know how they're going to remake it, right? There's going to be, like, this Gua Wold lady, and she's an experiment, right? Like, the Gua Wold are trying to make the perfect host. And her name is going to be, like, Shakila or something like that. And Shakila is good at science, she's good at engineering, she's good at being a great leader, she knows everything about ancient civilizations, she's the entire team, basically. And she's going to replace everyone. There's going to be jokes about how bigoted Daniel was, how racist O'Neill was, what a war pig General Hammond was. And she's going to have maybe, like, some team members, probably, like, a black lady and another African-American person, like, maybe an Asian. And there's going to be a white guy who's going to be the butt end of all jokes. In fact, he may even be the villain. And the real problem, the real villains, is the United States of America. So the United States of America is actually really evil. They're colonizing the galaxy. They got, like, new leadership with Trump in charge. And they just want to make Tauri great again. So they're, like, going through the galaxy, and they're trying to leverage their success in order to conquer other planets and divide them of resources. But, like, Shakira is going to be the moral beacon and is going to say, no, enough, we're not doing this. And towards the end, like, they're going to catch the president, they're going to catch Donald Trump, and they're going to lecture him. Probably put a Guawold in his head in order to make him normal. And he's going to change party and become a Democrat, and then the Stargate program is going to experience a shift in leadership. This is what I would expect. Unironically, it's what I would expect if they make it. They would focus on, like, oh, this character is queer. This guy, Tilk is actually gay. He always was gay. Like, look, he managed to find a boyfriend. Like, there is no fucking way if they remake Stargate that they won't say, well, actually, this character is gay, right? And then people will say, well, hold on a little bit. Like, no. And they'll be like, no, he was always gay. Like Teal'c, for instance. He was always gay. there will be hyper focus on that because that's what matters, right? It's not the entertainment anymore. It's who they fuck. They have to return all of Jackson's artifacts. Yeah. That's probably going to be the mission, right? It's going to be like Daniel Jackson having to go on an apology tour and return the artifact. Speaking of Donald Trump, have you ever seen the Apprentice movie? No, I haven't. Like, you need to understand, I'm in Romania. It's like, I didn't even know how popular Donald was in New York until recently. The US Juan mission is to return all the artifacts. They will definitely have a line about it. Like, they will definitely, like, reach a planet, and they will say, wow, this is a powerful artifact. It help us against the Goa'uld. And you're going to have, like, Shakira go like, but are we allowed to take it? Should we take it? No, I don't think we should take it because it doesn't belong to us. Like, that's stealing. Meanwhile, you may have, like, people coming through the Stargate and be on Earth and they take a lot of shit all the fucking time. If you want to watch the prologue, watch the old movie. Yeah, I do know about the old movies. I do recommend it to be watched, yes. Stargate was formulaic. That's what SGU messed up on. I agree. The culture is changing now. We will. No. You don't understand. In order for a TV show to actually appear, it needs to be made like 4 years in advance. So if the culture is indeed changing, and I don't know, and I'll tell you why I don't think it is. If they start production now, then it will basically come out in 2028 or 2029. And so, no, you're wrong. It's not that the culture is changing. Now, the reason I don't think the culture is changing is that if you're a person that like legitimately wants to make entertainment, you gotta publish your stuff somewhere. You gotta publish it on Netflix. You gotta publish it on Amazon. Like you gotta work with the streaming service, and all the streaming service up till now, like even now, they have on their website the commitment to DEI. None of them have removed it. Like all of them are basically saying like, yeah, like we need diversity, and when they talk about diversity, they say like we need people of different races, even if it doesn't make sense in a historical context. I think like Amazon is the one that says this. So like even if you have Victorian London, or you have London under the World War II bombing, and it's like 99.9% people white, like no, you need to have black people there. Like black people are the essence. You cannot get anything green light unless you have it. And there was like an actual independent cartoon guy. He made like his entire franchise, his cartoons, and he was very happy with it. But like no one would take his cartoons. Like no one wanted to edit. So he actually, I forgot the name of it, but he had to make like one of the characters black. And after he did that, then he got greenlit. And it's literally the mindset. It's where we're at. Lumi says the culture won't change, it will hide for a bit. It really depends how people react and how long they can keep up the pressure. Like if the anti-woke pressure is just here for like 1 year and then people forget, then yeah, they will hide a bit and then they will come back. But if like the pressure is continuous and every single time they do something woke, people use backlash, then over time, like 5 or 10 years, yeah, like you're going to see the whole reason that wokeness exists is two reasons. Like number one, it is BlackRock, but the number two, it's also legislative changes. Like for instance, if you're in California, yeah, you actually do need to have what was it? An HR. Like if your company is bigger than a certain number of people, I think it's like 100 or so, you need an HR. And when you have an HR, you get a person that was educated in the academia. So, like, if they crack down on academia, which Trump wants to do, if they crack down on these types of legislations, like you need an HR, it's like, well, why do I need an HR? I don't fucking need an HR. If they start cracking down on these things, then eventually you're going to notice a change. Hello, Mr. J. Culture is not changing as long as BlackRock exists. No. Like there's a lot of independent people that make shit. Like there's people like myself that are like, you know what? I just want to make a game that will piss people off and also entertain the ones that aren't pissed off. So I don't care about the profits. I just want to make a game and I want to see people that like those types of game, happy, enjoying it, playing it. And the people that hate it, I want to see them cope and seethe. That's it, right? So there are eventually people like me that are like, I don't care about making money. I just want to make a product that I would play, and hopefully other people will play. And if it's possible that other people that don't like these types of products, they get angry, even better. So that's my take on it. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about Romania, and I wanna show you something funny. There's now 2 presidential candidates. I don't like either one for different reasons, but I turned on the television and I can't believe what I'm seeing. So this is the lady that's the progressive, like she is the Democrat, right? Like think about Kamala Harris. And I just want you to understand that Romania is so based that when you have a progressive running for office, they have to wear the Romanian flag and the cross just to try and get the people's vote. Because the problem is that, like, she comes from a party that's, like, extremist left. And the reason I call it extremist is because their entire campaign, their entire way of doing politics is to insult the people that don't vote for them. I don't know if that sounds familiar, but like literally, if you don't vote for us, you're a fascist! You support fascism! Fascist! You're with Putin! Putin! Fascist! Like, literally, their entire shtick is to insult people, right? Vote for them or they'll insult you. And the party that represents the older generation, the party that's pretty much like, I guess, not really the conservative party, but like the establishment, is the Social Democrats, right? So when you think about the person in the countryside, a person that's a farmer, a person that's living in a rural area, they vote for Social Democrats, right? So they're like family-oriented, they're Christian-oriented, they're going to church all the time. And so this lady, well, not her, but like her party in the past would even create a slogan, a chant, Muie PSD, which basically means fuck you Social Democrats. And that was their chant. Like, they were shouting it in stadiums. They're like nonstop. So now she has to go to those people that she called, well, not necessarily her, but again, like her party, called fascists, insulted, denigrated, all the shit, and has to be like, vote for me. She's in a difficult situation, Chad. She's got a difficult battle. I will pray for her. I'll pray for her that, God gives her the wisdom and the knowledge on how to do it. Because I don't think she can do it alone. It's a difficult journey. The other guy, however, I generally believe he's a grifter. I know, like, what his campaign is. I know he's a right-winger. I don't believe that he means it. That's my thing. Based on his history, based on certain things in the past, the guy was, like, promoting ESG. So I'm like a little bit sus. I'm like, narrowing my eyes, and I'm like, really? But anyway, right, like the other guy is not having difficulty tapping in to the Social Democrats' vote. Because he hasn't called people fascist. He hasn't called people any names. And I was talking with a friend of mine, and he's like, what are you going to vote? Well, I'm not going to vote for her. Like, why? Because she called me a fascist. The other guy didn't call me a fascist. And I'm like, that makes sense. I'm probably not going to vote, or if I will draw a penis. I'll draw a fucking penis on the voting ballot to express my displeasure in the fact that these are the 2 candidates that have been forwarded for me. Don't resonate with either one of them. I wanted to vote for someone else, but that choice was taken away. And I want to show you just how disconnected they are from the... Like, this came up on YouTube, right? So, like, this is an ad that I got on YouTube. It says, Elena Lasconi, she is a Orthodox Christian married inside a church with a man. Isn't this like something that someone that like an alien would write? Right? Like, you go to an alien that studies humans, and you're like, can you please write something and make it relatable? It's like, okay, she's a Christian. She is married, but not anywhere. She's not just married. She's married inside the church with a man. Okay. I mean, no one accused her that she wasn't. Like, there's no... No, it's not a joke. It's literally a YouTube ad. Like, I saw it in the corner of my eye, and I was looking at it, and it's like, no fucking way. Like, no fucking way. V, at least America have competent versus incompetent. You just have two regarded people. Yeah, no, like, here's the thing. I am unironically worried that the other guy who's a right-winger, and you know, like, most people haven't followed him, but, like, he's making claims that are bizarre, like, vote for me and I lower the electricity cost. And I'm like, you're the president, the Romanian president, you're not Trump. The Romanian president has no authority to lower the electricity costs. We're not in a centralized economy. What the fuck are you smoking? Vote for me and I will stop the war in Ukraine. How the fuck will you stop the war in Ukraine? Like, you're the Romanian president. You're not Donald Trump. What the fuck are you... You know, like, this is how I feel when I watch him. And so, not only that, but he also says some absurdities. And I'm thinking, if this guy actually gets in, right? Like, he would be the first actual right-wing conservative that's in office. And so, the question would be, if he starts doing gaffes, if he doesn't deliver, if he pisses people off, then the entire right-wing movement will be associated with him. Like, people will look at him, and they will, like, every time they will hear, like, nationalism or right-wing, will remember his days. And I think, like, that will actually hurt us, right-wingers, in the upcoming elections. And the thing is, like, I generally don't care about the presidential elections. The parliamentaries are the ones that are really important. So I don't want, you know, like, right-wingers in the next parliamentary elections to start losing because this guy is saying all of these absurdities. Now, to be fair, the other chick is saying even more absurdities. And I talked about them on the previous stream. Apparently, America is a great power because they're guarded by two oceans. You know, like, I can't refute that. That's true, lady. That's true. Just like North Korea. I mean, holy shit. You have journalists correcting her, and they're like, well, you can't, the Romania doesn't have a vote on the UN Security Council, so, like, you can't have a say in that. And she's like, oh, I didn't know. And it's shit like this, you know? It's like, I generally don't have anyone to vote for, so I'll throw a penis. Yeah, see, like, on one hand, I can vote the cookie leftist lady, but then I will see all the leftists talking to me with a smug attitude, because that's the thing, if they weren't smug about it, and they would just be like, yeah, I mean, our candidate won, great. I would vote for her, unironically, but, like, I can't stanch the smugness. So I generally don't know who to vote. Again, I vote for the right-winger. I'm pretty sure he will get impeached. He has no party. He'll probably get impeached in 1 year. And what I would do, like, if I was in charge of any of the political parties that are part of the establishment, I would be like, okay, let's let this guy in. We pass, like, some draconic legislation, some shit that we always wanted to pass that's extremely unpopular. And then the public will blame him. And then we're going to impeach him. But we keep all of the shit that we passed. And then they will have new elections, right? So, like, that's something that I can definitely view. And I think, like, they would do it. It's kind of like Reddit. If you guys remember Reddit, right? They got Chairman Powell as CEO. And Chairman Powell passed some really draconic decisions, like censorship, all the other shit. So what they did is they kicked Powell. And then they kept all the decisions. I think they would do that if the right-winger wins. I'm 100% sure they would. As for the follow-up, it's like every single right-winger is going to be disillusioned. So we're going to lose percentages next vote. But yeah. Regarding GTA 6, okay, let's talk about GTA 6. Let's talk if it's woke, and let's talk, more importantly, if it's going to sell. By the way, I got a video coming up with Vara Dark and the God of War guy, who's going around challenging YouTubers, of all people, to shit-flicking context. And it's like, dude, you don't understand. Vara Dark is not a woman. Vara Dark is a person that went through the drudges of the internet. Unlike leftists, we strengthen our women. We make them strong. Like, she's going to mop the floor with you. I gotta see the video. It's hilarious. Again, YouTubers like go on like, you know, you take a developer and they're from probably California, right? And they stay in their little bubble, secluded. If someone calls them something mean, they run to human resource to complain. They're always bitching and crying about shit, right? Meanwhile, content creators on YouTube, they constantly go on debates. There's drama. They defend themselves. They argue with people they don't like. Like they're used to this shit. So, like, seeing what Vara Dark and Aspergold and other people are doing to this man, I can't say it's not deserved, but it's very painful to watch. It's like Mike Tyson versus a 5-year-old. You know, it's not a good look. It's not. But anyway, like, he's asking for it. You know, he's begging Mike Tyson to go in the ring. Anyway, Rockstar and GTA. Apparently, they're cooked with DEI. And Debian exposes Rockstar Game Studio is a complete DEI-infested hellscape. Will it affect GTA 6? So, the key staff, including the founder, left in 2021. This is what I keep saying. You know, just because it's the IP, just because it's the name of the company, it doesn't mean it's the same people making it. It's kind of like if it's still my channel, but like someone else takes over, it's not going to be the same content, right? It's still my channel, but like the other person can talk about other things, can do other shit. Shortly after, a boatload of DEI was installed in the studio in HR and talent acquisition. Okay, so when this happens, it means that they no longer care about competent people. Like, unless you speak the speech, unless you do the thing, unless you have the right skin color, unless your parents fuck correctly and you have the correct pedigree and family tree, you're in a disadvantage. And this is why, like, a lot of these games are buggy. They don't work on launch. This is the reason. And what's also interesting is, like, if you get like 5 incompetent people and they can't do the job on time, then you need to hire 5 extra incompetent people. This is why, like, most studios are so bloated. Because, like, someone asked me, it's like, why is it that Batman Arkham City, with a lot less budget and fewer developers, managed to do more than modern AAA, like Suicide Squad? And I explained, it's like, look, developers aren't cog in a machine. Just because, like, it's not a one-on-one ratio. Like, if I have 10 developers and you have 10 developers, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have, like, the same development output. You can have a developer that can do the job of 5 others. Because he's a creative person, he's got, like, an analytic mind, he knows how to bypass a lot of problems. So, in the end, you can actually have one developer that's better than 5. Alternatively, you can have a developer that requires constant hand-holding, that doesn't understand what he needs to do, that constantly has to go online in order to find solutions for basic problems. And that guy is going to slow down your entire team. And then the personality of the developer matters. If the developer comes in, does banter, is a cool, chill guy, gets along with the team, everyone else can have their morale boosted. If the developer is like some San Francisco lady that's always, you know, worried about sexual jokes and you can't say this, you can't say that, blah, 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 misogyny this, misogyny that, it affects the morale of the team. So when you have like your HR departments that are DEI oriented and it's hiring the type of people that we talked about, yeah, it's going to affect your entire company. And why do you care that women look like men? Because it tells me you're doing this in the company. It's a red flag. Shortly after that, apparently certificates were issued to employees who complete training regarding microaggressions, unconscious bias training, wheel of privilege, every buzzword you can think about. The entirety of the woke mind virus. This is similar to what happened at Activision and Blizzard. And Damian and Francesco found the course they used and they showed it on their channel. All key talent acquisition staff are DEI focused. LinkedIn profiles included. Every hire filtered through DEI head of acquisition talent. They even covered the bullshit with Wheel of Privilege, workplace operation, DEI leader, and much more. Right. So like the entire company is woke as fuck now. Like it's like a California and a San Francisco church. Will it affect the game? I mean, obviously. The very fact that it's GTA and you have a female character that's not the hooker kind of tells you all you need to know. If you happen to grow up in the streets, regardless what country you're from, you know that men become thugs, women become hookers. It's just like what it is. And I'll tell you why. It's even explainable. It's not misogyny or anything like that. Being a thug is insanely dangerous. You can end up getting killed. It's not a lifestyle for everyone. It requires a lot of testosterone. Like people who do crime, they do crime because in some cases they lack discipline. In other cases they're poor. In other cases they have no opportunity. And it's also like the idea of men that they want to prove themselves, right? Like they want to impress the ladies. They want to show that they have power. How do they do that? They join a gang. That's why you have thugs, right? So like the degeneracy of a man is to become a thug. Like, you know, you have failed as a father if your son becomes a thug. You know, you're successful as a father if your son is strong, competent, but isn't a thug, right? So he has discipline. He knows how to compose himself, how to maintain himself. Like, he's got a lot of power, but he also has a lot of control, right? So, like, that's when you're successful as a father. And if your son becomes a thug, that's when you know you failed. When it comes with a daughter, it's different. Like, women have no interest in showing dominance, asserting territory, and all that other stuff. And they also don't want the danger. Like, what, you know, like, no one wants to be shot. No one wants to gangbang. Like, people do it because they have to. But, like, no one wants to risk their lives, right? So, the opportunity for them to make money is different. So that's why, you know, you know that you failed as a father and a mother if your woman actually ends up on the corner of a street as a woman of low moral fiber. It's a way that she can make money in almost any situation, but it also comes with other risks. So when you have like GTA, which is a game that's supposed to criticize and be a satire and whatnot, and they're afraid of showing that reality or even acknowledging that reality exists. In fact, they removed the hookers, which is what they did in a remake to sanitize it. Yeah, the game will be woke. Like, I expect certain characters, not just to be LGBT, but to constantly talk about it, to constantly make a big deal out of it. I do expect, you know, a lot of trans characters and stuff. You know, like everything that comes with the LGBT stuff is going to be in the game. Implemented in a very bad way, very cringe way. And so the question is, will people buy it? And it most likely will have bugs and performance issues. I guarantee that as well. Will people buy it? My answer is yes. Yes, I think that no matter how bad GTA is, it's so big that the brand is so massive that it will sell. There is no way that GTA won't sell unless they go so hyper woke, so over the top woke that it's like Dragon Age. Like if it ends up becoming like a Dragon Age where you have you know, conversations about pronouns at the table and the characters lecture you about it. Yeah, if it becomes like that, then it won't sell. But if it's like The Last of Us level woke, I think it will sell. Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, it has the potential of being GTA's Last Jedi. You know, like the idea that this is the last one that they managed to sell. Because the reason people will buy it is simply because of the predecessors, right? So, like, people buy GTA 6 because they like GTA 5. But if it ends up of being a major disappointment and it's just a mediocre game, then chances are people aren't going to be interested in expansion packs. People aren't going to be interested in whatever DLC they have. So it remains to be seen. But I do think it will sell. So anyone that's going to say, oh, GTA, we need to boycott it, don't. Like, just don't. Because The worst thing is like when you try a boycott and it fails. So like you attempt a boycott and it fails, it shows that you don't have power, it shows that you don't have strength. And then it can show other companies it's like, oh, well, look, the customers now like woke shit. Even Dragon Age Veilguard sold over 1 million copies, so there are normies who buy the product. Yeah, like, again, people look at like there's a lot of people that don't go on YouTube, they don't know the culture, where they just buy the game. And a lot of the people who bought Dragon Age have buyer's remorse. Like, I have seen it on their forums, I have seen it in other places. And the buyer's remorse isn't necessarily because of the wokeness, it's because performance issues. It's because they will say, well, this doesn't feel like Dragon Age. They will say the game it plays is too repetitive, like this is meaningless, right? I can't make beautiful characters. I actually heard that. So, yeah, I mean, all in all, most people may not know how to articulate what the problem is, but just because we know what the problem is, doesn't mean that everyone else will make a purchasing decision based on it. My Midwest Finance, GTA is my childhood. This is honestly heartbreaking. These assholes have ruined every bit of entertainment I've had. Not the end of the world, but damn. Hello V, wishing well and yours. Thank you, Soldio. So going back to this super chat from Midwest Finest, I want to point out that it's not just the fact that they're destroying IPs, is that they're not making political satire anymore. So I'm looking at a Japanese manga, and this is why they absolutely hate Japan right now, why I think like credit cards company are cracking down on Japan. They're not interested in the adult content. I think that's the excuse. I think it's like leftists on Twitter that pretend to be against degeneracy when in fact they have other agendas. I think Visa and MasterCard are upset that Japanese entertainment is dominating the West right now, and Disney, Marvel, DC, and all the others are absolutely horrified. So they are pressuring the credit card companies through various ways in order to try and deplatform Japan's manga and anime industry. And I don't think it will stop at adult. I think it will just keep going. And the reason for it is that, once you normalize that, okay, you can actually deplatform legal things like manga, then they will say, okay, well, we also want to ban hate speech now. We also want to ban this and that, right? So let me give you an example of a manga that is satire, and it is amazing. Apparently it just came out. I haven't read it, but I heard people tell me about it. A meteor slams down on Earth, and aliens come from the meteor. And the thing is, like, the aliens now, they're starting to integrate in society, and they're basically taking people's jobs, they're receiving welfare, they have their own culture, they don't want to assimilate. And what they notice is that the cops are ignoring the aliens. So, like, you have an alien committing crime, you have an alien doing something bad, and the cops just ignore it. But whenever a citizen does something bad, the cops immediately crack down on it. So the politicians, they start appealing to the aliens, they start making laws that crack down on citizens that are against the aliens, right? So this is a manga. And what aspect of it is like, it shows the story of a girl that works at a McDonald's, and her boss accidentally sets himself on fire, and she finds out that the aliens are actually really tasty. Like, the smell of his burning corpse is tasty, so she eats the alien. And she realizes that by eating the alien, it removes the evidence that there was a murder. So she finds another racist, and together they go out hunting aliens. And people on Twitter are absolutely furious. They're fuming at this manga. It's like, why would you write something like that? Meanwhile, the manga is soaring in popularity. Like, they probably run out of paper, not knowing how to print more issues. But, like, this is the type of satire that I grew up in the 90s. Like, this is the type of shit that I would expect South Park to do. This is the type of stuff that GTA would be doing, right? Like, this is actual political satire. And no one does it anymore, because if you try to do it, well, you get in trouble with the credit cards, with the processors, with, you know, I heard people ask, it's like, why don't indie developers make video games like this anymore? And my answer was like, look, if I was to make a video game like that, where do I sell it? Right? Like, how do I get it so that people buy it? Because the thing is, like, you can sell it on Steam, you can sell it on GOG, you can sell it on the Epic Game Store. But the thing is, like, all of these platforms have terms of service baked into them. And one of the terms of service is, like, no hate speech. And they don't actually elaborate. They don't say what they mean by that. It's very ambiguous, right? So, like, they can conclude that, no, like, your video game is actual hate speech and propaganda because blah, blah, blah. Now, the issue with this is that to make a video game, you often have to spend around $30,000 or more. So you end up spending all of this cash. And so once you spend the money, you can have your game banned. And then you take the loss, right? So this is why, like, many developers try not to do it. And then it's also the industry. If you make a game like this, then you get blacklisted. People don't want to get a job with you. And the reason people don't want to get a job with you isn't because, like, they're afraid that you're a bad person. No, they're afraid to get a job with you because then they won't get a job other places. The title is Drama Queen? I see. There's an important plot point missing. They saved Earth from the meteor and are regarded as heroes from most humans. I didn't know that. I just heard about it from other people talking about it. I haven't actually played or seen the game. Replace the term aliens with rich people, and the very same people are crying, complaining about it, will love and celebrate it. That is true. That is very true. Here's one thing. I noticed it today. One of the American CEO company, the CEOs from a pharmaceutical company, seems to have been gotten assassinated. Like, it's not really officially announced, but the way it happened almost guarantees that the person was assassinated. Like, you have a guy with a silencer and a hood over their face, just shooting the person a couple of times, walking, shooting again, doesn't flinch, not afraid of anything, right? Like, it looks like a legit hit on that person. Like if you had Agent 47 in real life, that's how it looks like. So this is the person in charge of a health insurance company. And there's many reasons why people would hate them, right? Now, the main reason that I noticed is that most companies in the United States usually reject health insurance 15% of the time. Like, this is the national average, right? So, like, there are some companies that reject your insurance 10%. There's others that 20%. This company was rejecting it like 40% of the time. And I want to point out, like, even the companies that rejected 15%, like, they're still making billions of dollars. So like, maybe this is what got this person to have, like, people, like, powerful people, or even, like, people crazy enough to put a hit on them. I can only speculate. But the thing is, right, I'm looking at it, and instead of, like, the morality of the issue is to be like, holy shit, like, putting hits on people, like, that's concerning. Like, if it happened to a CEO, it can happen to everyone. People are glorifying it, and they're asking it for more. And then I realized, like, there's this thing that's mostly in American cultures. And I'll probably explain why that is. But when I say American cultures, I mean, like, you find it in America, you find it in the UK. Kind of less in Canada, though, and less in Australia. But it's the thing where people act normal. Like they act like normal citizens, and you think they're good people. But then when you have, like, an event, which is okay to hate, they become, like, unhinged, bloodthirsty psychopaths. And what I mean by this is, like, again, you go on Twitter, and you see war crimes from UK. I don't even know why they're public. I don't even know why I need to see this. But, like, you see a Russian soldier going to a drone and the Russian soldier is trying to surrender, but the drone kills them anyway, right? And to me, like I'm shown a human life being taken. Like I don't care about anything else. It's like it's painful to watch. It's still a human being, right? But you have people that are not only justifying it, but they're upset because of how I feel. And they're like, no, you don't understand, they're orcs. Like, why was he invading? Why was he there? This is a good thing. More, you know? Or like, short fat otaku, it's like, based, more of this, more. And I'm like, why is this a thing, though? And I think the reason it's a thing is because political correctness kind of screens for people to the point where if you tell someone else to get Canadian healthcare, that's a hate crime. Like, you shouldn't talk like that. You shouldn't behave like that. You shouldn't be like that, right? Like, so you constantly, like, you have people that are constantly hiding who they are. And you just don't expect from them that when something like this happens and it's now... And the only reason they behave like this is because it's socially acceptable. Right? Like it's kind of like that movie, The Purge. Right? Like, you have all these people, and all the days of the year, they're nice, they're smiling, hey neighbor, how's it going? But like, during the purge, it's the event that society finally allows them, you know, like it's COVID, and it's like open season on people who don't get vaccinated. You can say literally whatever you want against them, and nothing will happen. We can pass any type of legislation against them, and nothing will happen. And you see like the neighbors turning on each other and becoming like unhinged psychos. It's like an on-off switch. Like they flip the switch and they go absolute mental and deranged. And they post some of the most bizarre and disturbing shit that you can ever imagine. And it's the same thing, you know, like they're going on, and a lot of the left was like that. It's like, oh, we're nice, this guy's a racist. Pah, immediately, get him fired, ruin his livelihood. I don't care if he has children. This guy is a transphobe. Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck is it now? It's anime. Mutahar watches anime. To be fair, if Mutahar could clone himself, he would probably go after Mutahar. So there's that. But I do see a lot of people being more upset on the fact that Mutahar is exposed over what Mutahar was watching. Which, again, goes to show that it's not like, the issue is not the issue. The issue is that they want the 5 minutes of hate. Like, they want to know, what is the next target? This is a Ukraine video, right? A video that takes place in Ukraine war footage. How dare you not enjoy it? And it's like, well, I'm sorry, I don't like seeing people getting blown up. What the fuck is that so difficult to understand? It's not a movie. Like, if it was a movie, no, seriously, if it was a movie, I would enjoy it, right? If it's fiction, that's fine. If you show me a movie from a war, like Saving Private Ryan, no, that's fine. But like, if I know that Saving Private Ryan is real footage and there were like real people that were, no, that's sick and disturbing. So yeah, the Purge timeline, legit wild. Purge election year, a woman gets elected by promising to stop the Purge. The next movie. She's been voted out, the next guy brings it back. I haven't seen the next movie. Mutahar has always been a fence sitter. I'll tell you what's happening. I'll be honest with you, right? Like, a lot of people that grew up in the old internet, like especially the ones that went on 4chan like 10, 15 years ago, there's no fucking way that they didn't see everything. Like, you need to understand, back in the day, the internet was pretty much like shock value. Like, everything, you know, and you got like street cred if you watched shock footage without flinching. And everyone did that. IRC, like that was normal. There was no trust and safety. There was like no guardrails. There was like no morality. In fact, the morality was like, the strong can watch the video, the weak complain about it. And all the content creators were like this, right? Like, the more outrageous shit you did, the more cred you got. Like, how did bomb fights become a thing? How did the Jackass become a thing? Like, it was literally like that. It's like, show me how edgy you are. Maximum fucking edge. You had entire genres of music about Canadian healthcare, like goth music, right? And you have like a girl that's like in a bathroom in the dark and she's singing and she's very depressed and she wants to end it all, like that type of shit. That was the culture back then, right? Almost every single content creator that lived through those times knows about it. And everyone that went on 4chan knows about it. So like if you're Mutahar and you're sending like these bizarre rules that if you ever watch an anime girl that's 17 years old at 11 months and she's got big fat tits and plump asses that you need to be on a criminal registry, I'm paraphrasing, but it's kind of like that, right? If you say that shit, then you must have like a really clean internet history. You must like have avoided stuff like the fucking plague, because like it's going to come out. Because like you're encouraging people to dig. It's going to fucking come out. So like if you say that Melina from Mortal Kombat is a loli because like she's like 2 days old in the story, she's a clone of Kitana, right? And they clone Kitana, Melina is in the cloning vat. She's now like 2 days old, but she's like an adult woman with big tits and plump ass. And you say that if anyone finds that sexy, come on. Right? Like, why are you even engaging in this? Except for the fact that this is where the culture is now. Like, you just want clout. You just want people to look at you and be like, wow, you're so virtuous. Like, tell me more. Oh my goodness. I never thought about that. It's so insightful. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Like, what an interesting way. So, like, you're saying you never did that. Wow. Oh my goodness. Mutahar. But like you're setting yourself up, you know, it's the same with Vosh. Like Vosh is like, anyone that watches anime is a Nazi, you know, like this is why people like Gargura, because they're Nazis. And then it's revealed that Vosh watches is the same. And it's like, why are you setting standards that you yourself can't seem to uphold? It is what it is. But like, they did the same with Android 21. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, Edie from Mass Effect would probably fall under this. Like, Edie is an AI on the ship Cerberus, and she's like 3 years old, but like, she's an AI, right? Like, she's as smart as ChatGPT. She's like an emotional, capable woman. And she manages to hijack the body of a robot. So now she's in a robotic form, and I think like the ship pilot Joker falls in love with her. Like, what? Is that pedophilia? Like, I mean, she's 3 years old, but, like, she's in the body of an adult woman, got big tits, plump ass, right? Edie from Mass Effect. So, what type of standard is this? It's so fucking weird. Like, the only thing is, it's like you're virtue signaling in order to distract people from looking into what you've been doing. Packet waifu. Vosh claims that people are pedos, yet he had the same art in his folder. I don't know. Like, no one forced Vosh to comment on the issue. Like, he could have been quiet and no one would have cared. I mean, I can't speculate on why he was like that, but there you go. Meanwhile, in more sane countries like Japan, violence is treated more seriously than fan service. See, like, the thing with the violence, I kind of get it. The idea was that people could try and reproduce the violence because it's cool. And there were some cases when I was growing up. Like, there was an actual... Well, you know, the conversation about this is also a little bit difficult. But I do remember that in the United States, there was a person that took a gun and started shooting at vehicles. And when he was arrested and went to court, he said that he was reproducing what he saw in GTA. Now, the reason that I may not incline to believe it is because when you go in front of a jury, you want to say anything you can in order to get the jury to sympathize with you. So, like, basically he was saying that the video game did this to him. Like, he was a normal citizen, but then the video game was so powerful and it indoctrinated him, so he's a victim. Obviously, the jury didn't buy it. But, like, a lot of lawyers would tell their clients, hey, blame it on the video games. Like, this is why it's violent. Blame it on the video games. Short Fat Otaku is going crazy. He's turning to a very dark path. He doesn't care about the loss of human life. He actually is developing attitudes similar to a Nazi. I remember, like, there was this guy, Bob Chipman. Holy shit. I remember Bob Chipman. My fucking god. He was actually a decent content creator. Like, his videos had a lot of work placed into them. He was a really good editor. Like, for the time, he had a really good rig, and he had a prestigious job at certain publications. Let me see if I can find Bob Chipman. Movie Bob. Yeah, so Movie Bob has 128,000 subscribers. He's still uploading videos, but he's getting like 4,000. He's getting. I wouldn't say I would be happy getting this number for the type of production level that he's putting in. Like, these videos take a long time to make. And he's getting like 22,000 views. Like, this is low. If he was like doing my production quality and he was just like uploading and shooting the shit and he was getting like 70,000, that would have been great. But like, for the amount of effort that he's putting in to the amount of return, very small. But like, Bob Chipman was also like this type of guy, leftist, you know, very compassionate individual. Oh, we need to care about minorities, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, suddenly he becomes unhinged during Gamergate. Like he's, like, tweeting some of the most vile stuff imaginable, almost like eugenics level. And, yeah, it's like the journey, I guess. The lack of compassion. So I have seen it happen before. He never had good production quality. What the fuck are you talking about? I remember, like, watching his videos, and they were like, wow, this is really great. Like, he actually has special effects. Who the fuck did that besides Angry Joe? No, like, every content creator was like Sargon. They would have, like, a random avatar and just talk over an article. Like, Movie Bob actually had shit in the background, moving stuff. He had special effects. No, I disagree with your take. Look, credit is what credit is due. Just because I don't like the man doesn't mean that he didn't put work in his production. The question is, why does it happen? I think... Did I lie? I said 128,000. I didn't say 26,000. If I did, my bad. No, he's got 128,000. I even showed it on the screen. Like, it's here. He's got 128,000 subscribers. Like, I don't want to take away from the man's accomplishments. Glad I don't care about GTA. Well, I mean... The way GTA is going to perform is going to be a huge signal in the gaming industry. Anyway, right. Movie Bob was never good. I disagree. He has 128,000 subscribers. Like, come on. Let's stop being subjective about it and look at the objective stuff. Like, just because you don't like it doesn't mean other people don't. You don't get 128,000 subscribers if you're not good. How much does Anita have? Hold on. Like, I'm actually curious. Anita, you know, like, I like Anita Sarkeesian. Bob Chipman got no mainstream publicity. Anita went to the UN, so... let's see. Anita Sarkeesian. What was it? Feminist Frequency, yeah. Oh my gosh, she's got 210,000 subscribers. She's still uploading no fucking way. So she's got like 210,000 subscribers. This is insanely low for a person that was presented on The Guardian, on BBC, on MSNBC, on all the other platforms. But she's still uploading videos, and she's getting 132 views. Like, at this point, I would just stop. Like, no, seriously, like, at this point, just go to a Discord server and interact with people live. Like, Jesus. Let's see what it's about. Oh my god. Comments have disabilities. Of course they do.
Okay. 100%. Also, everything looks like an Airbnb and everyone is wearing Shein. Like, it's the ugliest movie of the year for my money.
I just felt like it was a really good movie about drag.
You know, They have a podcast. That's nice. If Anita hired me, I could actually make her brand, and I could actually get her to have a channel where it has like more than 100 views. Like, all you do is to give her an avatar, right? Like, give her an avatar, maybe, I don't know, like a VTuber thing. Make it look like Anita Sarkeesian in her prime. And then just have her talk about wholesome shit. Like, literally, just do like this, you know, like talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the best little whorehouse in Texas. You know, just talk about these old movies. Do it with a VTube avatar and get some promotion. And go on the Flashcast and shit. And she would actually, no, seriously, like, she would actually have like a decent YouTube channel that wouldn't be for everyone. A lot of people would go there for the memes and stuff, but like a lot of people would actually find her endearing because she has the voice, right? Especially if she talks about stuff behind the scenes and stuff. Yeah, I think that she could get like maybe 60,000 subscribers and she would have like 10,000 hits per video. Especially if she does collabs. Yeah. Like I could actually fix her. Chat, I can fix Anita. The avatar needs to wear 2 rings. The YouTube views don't matter. She probably ends the videos in PowerPoint slides. No, she doesn't even do that. Like, apparently it's just like a recording now. So like she just goes around and records some takes and she's just chilling. But like 100 videos. 100 views. Jesus. History will not be kind to Anita. Like, the thing is, she's not really that important. She's kind of like Greta Thunberg, if you will. Like a paid person. You know, like a paid actor. Like the front of a movement. To give a face to the movement, basically. Like, if it wasn't Anita, they would use someone else. Because, like, it wasn't like Anita that was successful. There are movements where you have, like, a person that has enough pull and charisma, like Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens. You know, like they're the ones that created their movement. Like they actually, with their charisma and personality, dragged people and made people watch them. Or Donald Trump, right? Like, creating the MAGA movement. But when you have people like Anita or Greta Thunberg, they're being pushed upwards by other individuals. So, like, the mainstream media, DARPA, politicians, NGOs, like those were the ones that were pushing them. And if it wasn't Anita, they would have selected someone else. Games like Fallout New Vegas and Halo 3 still have active fan bases. No one is going to remember these woke slop games in a decade. Actually, hold on, let me think if there's any single woke game that's going to be remembered somewhat. I think The Last of Us 2. Because the gameplay isn't shit. The graphics are okay. And once you get past the intro, and if you don't care about the story, then you may actually enjoy the game. It's not like it's not. It doesn't have bad gameplay, is what I'm trying to say. It's kind of okay-ish. Baldur's Gate is woke, but it's not unplayable. Like I could see myself playing it again 10 years from now. Like, that's the question. Like, what would I see myself? So the qualifiers are like, what would you see yourself playing 10 years from now? And it obviously, like, depends how games will be 10 years from now, because maybe there will be even more shit. So, but yeah, Baldur's Gate. This one, Life is Strange, the first one. I actually like Life is Strange, the first one, because it showed how it's like to be bullied as a woman. Like, it's a different type of bullying, so I kind of like that. And the gameplay aspect where you can turn back time in order to solve puzzles, I like that as well. Man, the fact that there are so many games and I literally can't pick that many. Like, I genuinely can't see myself playing these games. Like, something that everyone would say, yeah, this is woke. But then, like, would I play it 10 years from now? And it's like, Yeah, no, that's pretty much it, chat. That's pretty much it. I can't think of any others. Yeah, the first one isn't so bad. I can't get over how pretentious she is. I mean, she's pretentious. It's a woke game. Like, it's not perfect. It's not a 10 out of 10. I'm just saying, like, games that came out that are woke and I would see myself playing. I'm not saying they're good games. I remember the GTA 6 leak where the NPCs are going to be black and Rockstar will put on Ubisoft and report you to the police if you do anything extreme. No fucking way. I don't know if they will do that. See, like, the thing with reporting to the police, I'm genuinely curious if it's mandatory or not. Because I could see, like, the British government, like, forcing game companies to do this behind the scenes. Like, they would go to the government and be like, okay, we want tax cuts. And the government is like, all right, well, do this and we will give it to you. Anita gets more players than Concord. Let that sink in. Oh, shit. That is actually true. Can't play Baldur's Gate 3. No, I understand that. It's fine. But like, the game is good because I'm looking at it objectively, right? Like, do people play it? Like, for instance, I don't like, what's the name of the game? Hades 2. I don't like Hades 2. But, like, objectively, people play it, they like it. I hate the art style, I hate the story. I think Hades 1 is better. But, like, I can't say it's a bad game because, like, de facto, it has a market. If it has a market, then it's not a bad game. Just because I don't like Sims and I think it's shit doesn't mean that it's not a game that sells and has a huge community. Well, even games that aren't woke, just boring and buggy, maybe call it corpo slop. Okay, if it's corpo slop, then the number just becomes much higher. Because now we can talk about Resident Evil 2. I would replay that. I wouldn't play Resident Evil 3 Remake, though. That shit. Silent Hill 2 Remake wasn't that bad. I would probably replay it. Even Alone in the Dark. But then there's, like, other games that I would genuinely replay. Like Age of Wonders 4 was a great game. Age of Mythology Remake is a great game. And then you have, like, Path of Exile 2. Like you also have, like, genuinely, unironically amazing games, right? So, like, Path of Exile 2, I don't think anyone would disagree that it's a superb game. Like, it's something that's, Elden Ring, of course. Sekiro. I even played Sekiro recently, so yeah. Almost everything that From Software does is good. Quite a level-headed assessment. Well, I tried. I do my best. Aiden Paladin put out a video on the Broken Crown. I don't know what the Broken Crown is, so I can't say it. What are your guys' opinion on the game Inscription? I don't know what that game is, so I can't tell you. I would replay GTA 1 with updated graphics. I wonder if people would play that. Like, if you make an actual GTA... see, the thing is, like, I remember a lot of games with nostalgia, but when you play them, you realize that, well, actually, they weren't that great. It's because your expectations are higher. Like, GTA 1, you get into cars, you drive around, and then you shoot. And that's it. It's like a really simplistic game, to the point where it's not fun. Like, it's really boring, and the story isn't interesting either. So, it looks like, at the time it was amazing because it was, like, groundbreaking. Like, the fact that you can do all that shit was great. But now it's just like meh. Why did Mr. J deleted Goddess Roxy video? Is it a bot? Is Goddess Roxy a bot? Anyway. Best party simulator, yeah. Hot take, Bloodborne sucks. A lot of the Forum Soft games are built on the same formula. And because the formula works, people like it. But the game itself isn't that deep. So, like, one of the things that I don't like about From Software is the way they tell the story. Like, I'm more into, like, the classical story types where I like it with cutscenes and shit. But like, I get it. You know, they don't want to do that. That's fine. But it's kind of like the same game over and over, right? However, they add like a couple of small things that add so much difference that it does feel like a new game. So like, for instance, Elden Ring and Dark Souls is very similar. But Elden Ring has the horse mechanic, and that just changes so many things. And the fact that it's an open world, which personally I didn't like. I gotta say, I preferred like Dark Souls and other games that weren't as open worlded. But yeah, like I don't like the way they tell the story. That, I mean, they do have stories, and they're very complex. But in order to get the story, you have to read between the lines, and there's interpretations, and you gotta pick items and shit. I don't like that aspect of it, right? And most people probably don't even know the story from the game itself. Most people go online to find out what the story is, and I think that's like really meh. So, the thing, though, is that From Software isn't trying to change. The reason it's so good is because the game came out in a time before wokeness, but there was, like, something worse before wokeness. I don't know how many of you remember it, but it was, like, the casualization of video games, making games incredibly easy. That was, like, the corporate mantra. Like, all games have to be as easy as possible so that everyone can play them and everyone can finish them. Basically, like, removing any type of challenge from a game. The game design was to the point, and I'm not making this up, but the hard mode was locked. Like, if you wanted to play a game in hard mode, you couldn't. You had easy mode and normal mode. And you had to finish normal mode in order to unlock hard mode. Like, that was the game design at the time. And a lot of gamers hated it. Like, they absolutely despised it. I think it also killed Prince of Persia, the franchise. Because in Prince of Persia, you couldn't die. Like, they made it so, like, in the last, I think it was Prince of Persia 4, you literally could not die. Like, if you jumped in a hole, the princess would rescue you. If you got hit by the enemies, the princess would come up and pick you up. Like, it was impossible to die in that game. And once you got that, like, the entire game became boring as fuck. Yeah, like Pac-Man with no ghosts. That's pretty much what every game was. And Dark Souls comes up and just, like, flips the table. And it's like, no, like, people will like hard games. It's just, like, people don't like hard games that are unfair. And it manages to get, like, huge following, huge traction. People are even now using Dark Souls difficulty as a thing. And, like, Dark Souls is not a hard game. Like, that's the thing. Like, Dark Souls is just a game where you reach a boss and the boss one-shots you. Right? And you're like, what the fuck? Why did I get one-shotted? And then you keep fighting the boss again and again. Like, you keep going, you keep dying, and you start to learn, okay, well, hold on. Like, the boss has certain attack patterns. Like I can avoid this attack if I just do this. I can, after the boss does this attack, it does this other thing, right? So you're basically, like, just going at the boss. You learn eventually what the boss does. And so you get good. Get good just means that your muscle memory understands what the boss is and what it does, and then you get defeated, right? And it's just like a test of patience. It's a test of discipline. Yeah, it's like rolling. And the game itself is not hard, right? Like, okay, you died. You understand what killed you. You backtrack. You do it again. And that's pretty much it. That's literally the whole game. I wouldn't say it's a hard game. Like, a hard game is a strategy game, right? Like, when you're playing multiplayer, that's hard, right? Like a fighting game when you're playing multiplayer, that's hard. But I wouldn't say that Dark Souls is hard. No, it's just don't give up type of game. Anyway, I will end it here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the donations. What day is it today? Thursday. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.